Welcome to the Golf Report podcast. Today I'm joined by Kansas head women's golf coach, Lindsay Kuhle. Coach, how are you?
Good, Gavin. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to, talk about your spring season. Your team has had a very successful spring season. Early February, your team went to Florida, finished second place, and then Arizona, your team went to at the end of February, and you got first place, shooting 43 under par. So I want to talk
Yeah.
about, how has the spring season been for your team, and particularly your tournament in Arizona. I wanted to touch on that. What was it like for your team to pick up, the team victory in Arizona, shooting 43 under par? And then also I noticed your team second round, everyone shooted under par. So just talk about that
Yeah.
tournament in Arizona and what it was like for your team to, shoot, 43 under par, which is, very incredible.
Yeah. Thank you. It was, I think that's the best word to use, is incredible. It was an incredible weekend. We always love that tournament. It's the Wisconsin Westbrook Invitational. And every year you stay with host families and you stay with families that have a KU connection and are really passionate about KU and in our women's golf program. So we get a lot of fan support out there, which really helped, I think, this past couple weekends ago when we were playing. But this team is special, and I tell them that a lot, just because of the team culture that we've built and how cohesive they are. They're a unified team. Even the players at home who aren't competing are a part of this team and part of our success and are cheering the girls on from back in Lawrence. And we're a very tight team, very close team. So I think that's really what happened this past week. We had fun together. We played for each other. We had support, and we were really confident going into Westbrook. Like you said, we came off a second place finish at the UCF tournament just 10 days before that. So we've been playing really good golf so far this January, February. And so we were confident. We were, feeling the support, and we like that golf course. And I think things just came together. It was perfect weather. It was 70 degrees and not much wind and very scoreable, but you still got to hit the golf shots and you still got to make the putts. And we did just that. And we kept the gas on the pedal. We shot, I think, 11 under the first round, 19 under the second round. And we had, I think, a 7-stroke lead on Oklahoma going into the final round. So we knew that we couldn't let up because scores were going to be low, same type of weather conditions, the final round. And we knew we had to play well to win still, because, any team could shoot 19 under out there if they get their putter going and their wedges are hitting close to the pin. So we knew we had to keep our gas on the pedal, which we did. We shot 13 under that last day to win by 5, I think, over Oklahoma. So it was just 3 rounds of really good golf, which was fun for our ladies and fun to see.
Nice. That's awesome. Congrats on the victory. But, I wanted to go back to round 2 because, usually this is something unique. Your team, each 6 of your players shot under par, and they didn't just shoot, 1 or 2 under. They shot, 5 under, 4 under. If 3 5-unders, a 3 under, a 4 under, a 4 under. So, it's very incredible. So just for you as coach, what is it like for your team? To see your team succeed so well and shoot so under par. And,
yeah, that was amazing. We actually threw out a 69 and our individual shot 67.
Okay.
So, that's our lowest round in program history, I think, by 5 strokes, which we broke that record this fall at New Mexico when we finished second in our first event. We shot 14 under the final round. So we beat that by 5. But it's incredible. I'm a big believer in momentum. I'm a big believer in how you feed off of each other, and all 6 players, no matter where they were on the golf course, we had that energy and we could feel it. You can see each other, a couple holes away or behind you or in front of you, and you're waving the wheat for the birdies. And, you feed off of that. I think that it really motivates our team, and we're extremely competitive and confident. And I think it just fueled our players to go even lower and to make more birdies. So an exciting day for sure.
Nice. So next week your team will go to Florida, and then you have 2 more tournaments before Big 12 championship at the end of April. What do you see for your team for the rest of the spring, and how do you see your team building on the success that you had in Arizona?
Yeah, so my philosophy is to kind of go all over the country and play against the best teams, from the ACC to the SEC to the Pac-12 to the Big Ten. So we've been to Arizona now twice. We've been to Florida, and in the fall we kind of went over from Tennessee to New Mexico. So it's really fun to get to go back to Florida and play some different teams that we haven't seen at Florida State. So we're looking forward to a 3-day tournament there. And then we have Arizona State, which is a loaded field of 18 teams, probably all ranked in the top 55 or top 60. So that'll be a really strong field. We actually play a little match play up at, actually down in Dallas. SMU and Baylor are hosting a tournament down at Dallas Athletic Club the first week of April. And I think that really prepares us for aggressive play in postseason and, hopefully for match play of the national championship. And then we go to the Big 12 championship in Houston. So we're going kind of all over the place, which I really think prepares my players not only for what they could see in postseason and where we could be sent for regionals and playing the national championship in San Diego, but who we're going to see and the type of field we're going to see, who we need to beat, what type of grass and weather conditions we're going to play in. I think it not only prepares them for postseason, but professional golf. And most of my golfers want to turn pro. So we're doing that here at Kansas. We're preparing our players for life after college golf as well.
So coach, just tell me, how was the fall season for your team? And what do you think, led your team to have this successful start to the spring season?
Yeah, it was a great start to the fall with finishing second at University of New Mexico. I think we had the lowest round by maybe 12 or 13 strokes that last day, shooting 14 under. And it's one of those things that happened at Westbrook and happened at UCF. We all came together. And I'm a big believer, if you have 5 players playing really well, you're going to shoot a low score, if they're all in it, because you only count 4 scores. So if one person's out of it, it's a little bit more, I guess, nerve wracking, or you feel more pressure knowing that your score is going to count. But when all 5 are in it, it gives you the freedom to just play more aggressive, go for more pins and more birdies. And we did that at UNM, and we did that a lot this fall. And we started that way this spring as well. So we played well at Cal and Oregon State's tournament in Monterey Bay. And then we finished 4th place, I think, at the University of Denver's golf tournament, the Ron Moore, and then we went to Tennessee. So again, we went all over and saw different competition and different courses. And I think that really prepared them for a chance to win, a chance to finish, first, second, third, and high in a tournament because of the experience they're getting by doing that.
Nice. So for you personally, I know you have a strong connection to Denver. You were coach there for many years. So your team played in Denver's tournament in the beginning of October. So just personally for you, what's it like, to go back to Denver and play in their home tournament, given that, you were a coach there for many years?
Yeah, it's always special for me to go back to Denver. My parents still live there. They live right where I grew up. And so they were able to come out, and I brought my daughter out with me to that tournament to stay with my parents. And I get to see my friends. I get to see all my close working friends from the University of Denver. Like you said, I coached there, I think 7 years as an assistant coach with Sammy Chergo and 9 years as a head coach. Met my husband there, got my master's degree there. I mean, it's home. My older brother played for the University of Denver golf team. And it was just special to be back. And I love the people at Denver. I love my team. And it's just so great to see them. It was a lot of emotions that week, because we had a chance to win that final round. We were only 2 or 3 strokes back of first place with maybe 6 holes left. So a lot of emotions, but I love going back to Denver, and I love Denver very much and the opportunity that it gave me.
So let's talk about, your start in the game of golf, coach. So you grew up in Colorado. So just
Mhm.
tell me about growing up in Colorado and how you got started playing golf.
Yeah, so I grew up in Littleton, which is just right outside of Denver, born and raised there. So I lived my first 18 years of my life there. Um, I have an older brother who's about 3.5 years older, who was a really great athlete and really strong academically. Had the chance to go play at some Ivy League schools, both with track and golf, and he chose the University of Denver. So he stayed close home and played golf there. And he's the one that really got me into golf and really competitive with it. I grew up playing with my dad and my brother and my mom, and it was a family thing we did every weekend. And every Sunday we'd go and play golf. And I got some of the best instruction in the world by Mike McGettrick, who had coached Julie Inkster and Beth Daniel and Meg Mallon. And he was a great instructor, and I got in great instruction since I was 10 years old. So grew up really competitive, just a drive to win and really beat my brother. That was the drive early on. But then I started winning tournaments, and I really fell in love with the game and working at it, and ultimately had the opportunity to go to some really great colleges to play golf. My top 5 were University of Colorado at Boulder, Texas A&M, Baylor, SMU, and Tulane. And I went to Tulane because of just the balance it has as being a student athlete. I really wanted high level academics in a private school and a really great golf team. And I helped build that program at Tulane to make the national championship my senior year, which was a dream and goal of mine. So definitely worth the time at Tulane. It's kind of why I got into coaching, was because of my coach from Tulane, Sue Bauer. But just a great experience. But I think everything that I learned in Colorado and learned from my family prepared me for those experiences that I had in college at Tulane.
Nice. So yeah, what was golf like for you growing up in Colorado? And what are some early golfing memories you had? Did you play any junior golf or high school golf?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. I did all that. I played a lot of junior golf tournaments. I made it to the U.S. Girls Junior Amateur twice. My first year I was 13, and it was at Marion Golf Club in Philadelphia. And Marion, outside of Philadelphia, was my first. I played Pumpkin Ridge in my second. I played in 3 women's amateurs. I played in 4 Junior America's Cups. I won 3 state titles with Heritage High School my freshman through junior year. And my best individual finish was second place my sophomore year in high school. But loved playing team sports. Grew up playing basketball, was a cheerleader. And we had a really strong golf team in our high school golf team. A lot of the players went on to play collegiate golf at the University of Colorado, Colorado State, Pepperdine, Ole Miss, San Jose State, kind of all over the country. We were a really strong high school golf state at the time, from about 1995 to when I graduated in 2005. So we had just really good golfers pushing me and pushing each other to be at our best. So I think that's kind of what helped me prepare for college golf. But many great memories of junior golf and high school golf growing up in Colorado, and a lot of great golf courses there. So a lot of memories on those.
Nice. So as you mentioned, you played in 3 U.S. Women's Amateurs, 2002, 2003, 2004. So yeah, what was it like to play in 3 U.S. Amateur championships?
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I first qualified the summer after my freshman year of college, and I missed the cut at that one, but it was cool. My dad got a caddy for me. So that was very special. That was at Sleepy Hollow up in New York, and we got to go downtown New York. Just great memories from any of those tournaments, but you're playing against the best players in the world. And, some of these players, the lady who finished, I think, second at that women's amateur championship is now my best friend. She's the coach at the University of Arizona. So it's you meet so many great people and carry on these lifelong friendships, which is fun for me. And then the next 2 were also up in the Northeast. I made the cut on both of those last 2 and got to the round of 32 the second time I was there. And then I'm pretty sure just the round of 64 in my last one. And then I actually turned pro in 2005. But like I said, just playing against the best players in the world is just memories I'll never forget, because that's at the very top of amateur golf. And to play those championship golf courses and to be treated like you're a pro at these USGA events was really special. To share it with my family and to have my dad there on the bag, that's probably one of my favorite memories of amateur golf.
So as you mentioned, for college, you went to Tulane. You were a multiple-time All-Conference USA selection, and in 2005, you were an academic All-American. So, yeah, what drew you to Tulane, and how special was your time at Tulane?
Yeah, it was a very hard decision to make, to go to Tulane over the University of Colorado. Both my parents went to the University of Colorado. My brother was still in the state. They offered me a scholarship, I think, my freshman year of high school, and I really thought I could see myself there. But when I went on my visits and when I went to Tulane, I just had a special bond with the head coach, Sue Bauer, there. And I like that it was a small team. I like the small classrooms and the private school education. But it was tough going 1,500 miles away from home and having to learn to do a lot of things on my own. I grew very independent at my time during Tulane, and I really made school and golf a priority. It was one of my goals was to be an academic All-American, which you have to have a GPA of a 3.5 or higher and play in, I think, more than half of the regular season events. And I worked for that GPA. I think I ended up with like a 3.55 or something like that in college, but I worked really hard for that. And I worked really hard at golf. And I got to win a tournament my sophomore year, our home tournament. And I was a preseason All-American my sophomore year and did some really cool things. And we broke a lot of records at Tulane, and we got to be ranked as high as 7th in the country. And we finished 15th at the national championship my senior year. So I think I accomplished all my goals that I wanted to at Tulane. And it was really because of the help of my teammates and my head coach. I don't think I could have done that without him. And that's really what made me want to become a coach, is my experience as a student athlete and how awesome it was, and how when you work hard, you can achieve goals, and how great it is to feel a part of an athletic program that's having success was just really fun for me. It really showed the harder you work, the more success you can have. And I was able to experience that at Tulane. So wonderful decision for me. I'm so glad I went there, and so many great memories of New Orleans.
Nice. So you graduated from Tulane in 2005, and then right away after graduating from Tulane, you became an assistant coach at Denver. So I'm interested to know, how did you know, right after graduating from Tulane that you wanted to become a college golf coach, or did you know that, after graduating from college that you wanted to become a college, coach?
Yeah. So I majored in finance,
Okay.
and I knew that I probably wasn't going to do anything with finance. I knew I was either going to teach golf, play golf, or coach golf. Like that was where my passion was somewhere within golf. So my coach kind of helped me write, this is when we barely had computers, we didn't have, and cell phones, but I had to
Mhm.
write out letters, print them out, and mail them to 60 different colleges in the country, asking, it wasn't an email and it wasn't a text. It was a written, a letter. And I mailed it to 60 coaches, and I only got 2 responses, just asking, do you have an assistant coach position available? Because it was pretty rare back in 2005 for assistant coaches. It was usually just the head coach. Only one coach could coach during each round.
Okay.
Now you can have 2 coaches coaching, and they can go on the greens. It was just one per round. So not a lot of programs had assistant coaches at the time. So I got a response from the University of Virginia and the University of Denver. And so I went back home after Katrina actually hit that August, when I was already back home. But I went back home in May, and all my friends were going through Hurricane Katrina, and they actually ended up cutting the program at Tulane. All that was really hard to see. And I think the time at home after I graduated in Denver is kind of where, I turned pro, and I decided, hey, I think I really want to coach. I miss my teammates. I miss my coach. This is where I belong. I can still be competitive and help give back. And, my senior year at Tulane, I was a captain, and I was helping the girls on the team with their swing, and I was helping my coach serve kind of like an assistant coach. And I was like, I really like this. I really like the administrative part of coaching and being on a team. So it was kind of September when the University of Denver offered me a position. Sammy Chergo was the director of golf, and she actually offered my brother the scholarship to play at the University of Denver on the men's team. So she said, come back, be my assistant, play with the girls. You can still be professional. And I played on the Symetra Tour, which is the Epson Tour now. And I played a couple tournaments there, played in the Colorado Open as a pro. And I just didn't love professional golf and playing. I felt alone. I felt more pressure and stress than I ever had with golf. And I felt like coaching was my true calling, because I knew I could work really hard, get the girls to believe, in themselves, help them with their game, and I come from a family of teachers. My mom's whole side are teachers, and my mom was a high school teacher at my high school, and I think it's in my blood to teach. And it's just now I'm teaching golf and coaching golf, and I think it's very similar, but it's just a true passion of mine and something that I just love to see my players develop in the 4 years that I have with them. From the time they come here as freshmen to when they graduate is probably why I coach and why I love it so much. Is just the growth and how they mature and become fully ready for real life and life after college golf. So that was a long-winded answer, but that's how I started at the University of Denver.
Yeah, you were at Denver from 2005 2012 as assistant coach and associate head coach. Then you went to Georgia for a year from 2012 to 2013. But I wanted to touch on, 2013. You then returned back to Denver as, head coach. How special was it to return back to Denver, as their head coach, given that, you coached there for several years, as an assistant coach and as associate head coach?
Yeah, it was a lot of emotions and mixed feelings.
Mhm.
I went to the University of Georgia to coach with my good friend Josh Brewer, who's still the head coach there now.
Okay.
And I just finished my master's degree in sports psychology at the University of Denver, and I wanted to be a part of a different program outside of what I knew at Denver. I wanted a big Power Five school, SEC. I wanted to try something new, so I was fully bought into Georgia and being there for a long time and helping Josh have great success. But when they called, it's an offer you can't turn down. Being from Denver, my fiance at the time was the men's assistant basketball coach. He's now my husband. But he just proposed to me right 2 weeks before I left for Georgia. So to be back in Denver, to be with him, to be at a program, to lead a program that I had been a part of for 7 years, and just have so much love for the University of Denver and gratitude for giving my family an opportunity, not only me, but my brother. I was really excited to go back and lead that program. So it was hard to leave Georgia, but honestly, a dream come true to get my first head coaching job at the University of Denver.
So you've been, the head women's golf coach at Kansas since July 2021. So, how has your time been at Kansas since 2021? And, how special was it when you were hired at Kansas in, July 2021?
Yeah, it was amazing. I feel like this is where I belong. To be honest, I came on my interview and I absolutely loved the people I was going to work with, the people that hired me. And my boss is Nicole Corcoran, who's the senior women administrator, and our athletics director, Travis Goff. They were my type of people, like very genuine, hardworking, high expectations, passion for KU, passion for growing the sport and athletics. And I felt like I was going to get the support that I needed here. And also, we love the town. It's a small college town, 100,000 people. My children are young. At the time, they were, I guess, 4 and 7. So my daughter had just finished kindergarten, and my son was young enough that I felt like that time was a great move. And my husband he's a basketball guy. He played college basketball, coached college basketball, high school basketball, and now he coaches the kids, a basketball guy. So coming to the University of Kansas was a dream for him too. He could go to all the men's basketball games and go to Allen Fieldhouse. So everyone was happy. Absolutely. Everyone was happy with the move here. And it's been better than I ever expected. Just the support, the resources, the people, the facilities, everything. So this is a place I truly believe is a great fit for me, and that we can have continued success here.
So Coach, you've been an LPGA member since 2007. So tell me about being an LPGA teaching professional.
Yeah. So those were my things when I set goals a lot. I think that's why I have high expectations, high standards. I set goals every year. And this was one of my goals when I became an assistant coach, is I want to do more. I don't just want to coach. So I tried playing, and then playing wasn't for me. Like I said, it was lonely, and I wasn't a great player. I was pretty good, but I wasn't great and I didn't like being alone. I preferred practicing with teammates and being on a team. So I knew I wanted to do more than just be an assistant coach. So I wanted to teach. So I went through and got my LPGA teaching certificate in about 3 or 4 years. And you go down to Arizona and do the workshops and take the test. And I think there's 3 levels of that. So I completed that in 2007. And then that's right about when I started my master's program. It was a brand new program at the University of Denver, sport and performance psychology. And that took me 6 years to complete and 90 credits. So it was one of those things where I always love to learn. I always want to strive to get better, and becoming a teaching professional and then getting my master's in sports psychology and learning more about coaching, I thought would only help my coaching career and only help me become a better coach for my players if I had those really 2 degrees or certificates.
So two more questions I wanted to ask, Coach. So you have, a son and a daughter. So I'm interested to know, what's it like being both a college head coach and a mom, balancing that, I'm sure it's difficult being away, at tournaments, being away from your family. So, how do you, deal with that?
It is. And I admire a lot of these women's coaches that, I look up to that had families and were successful golf coaches, because those two things consume my life, and they're just extremely important to me. The girls on my golf team here at KU, they're like a second family to me. I think about them all the time. And, they text me at night, and I don't worry about them, but I'm always thinking about them, and want them to be happy and healthy and safe and enjoying their time here just as much as I do my kids. So when I'm home, I try and be all in with my kids and go to their soccer and their basketball games and their golf games and their choir performances. But it's tough, and I know it's a difficult age for them right now, because they're involved in so many activities. But I know in 11 or 12 years, they're not going to be at home with us. So I got to soak it all in and take it all in and be there when I can for them. But those two things are extremely important to me: is my job and the girls here, and my family and my husband. But I couldn't do it without my husband. That's one thing, working moms that have kids, I think they need supportive spouses that can help. And my husband has the flexibility to do so. And he understands coaching, and he understands the demands that it has, and the travel and all the recruiting so he's very supportive and of me, or else I couldn't do this job. I could not be a successful coach and mom without him. So I owe it to my spouse, to be able to do both.
Nice. So finally, Coach, just tell me, how much do you enjoy getting to be a college coach, especially now at Kansas?
Oh, I love it. There's
Mhm.
nothing I would rather do. And like I said earlier, my why, the reason I continue to coach, and I'm in my 19th year of coaching, is yes, all the wins are fun, and I'm extremely competitive, and I love breaking records and seeing my girls improve and do well in the classroom, and all that is really important. But it's the journey, and it's the type of people they become when they've gone through my program. And that's what really gives me so much joy, and excitement to be a head coach, is seeing them come in freshman year and training them and coaching them and being their mom, through what they're going to experience in the real world, helping them through the situations now so they're more prepared when they graduate, is probably the funnest thing about this job. So when they graduate and they get up and they say they do their senior speech at our banquet, it's emotional for me, because I know what they've been through and I know how much they've grown, and that makes me feel so good that I've prepared them for whatever they want to do. If it's play professional golf or it's go into the career world of their choice, I feel like I've really helped my players once they've come through my program.